Hello and welcome to week 35 of the Lucy Letby trial. So this is a summary of what's been happening in court this week. So remember, this trial started in October, so it's a very, very long trial. But we are nearing the end of the trial. So the judge started his summing up this week and he's going to finish on Monday. His name is Mr. Justice James Goss. And he's already directed the jury on the law. So in other words, he's told them the definition of murder. He's told them the requirements for attempted murder. So if you want to know what those definitions are, I think I've got some shorts on it. So please feel free to watch those. Okay, so what he did this week is he went through each of the children. Now, 4 days of summing up. That's quite a long summary. Essentially, he said things like, well, all the evidence that you've watched, whether it's via video link, whether it's somebody standing behind a screen, or whether it's a witness in an open court, you need to treat that evidence in the same way. He talked about how in 2015, Letby had just completed a 6-month course for caring for intensive care babies, and in 2016 she had registered a grievance against the hospital, which is quite interesting. He then mentioned that she has no previous convictions, and he said to the jury, well, you can attach weight to that if you wish. So sometimes in court they do disclose previous convictions and other times they don't, so that's quite interesting. And also he told the jury to remember the fact that these are witnesses recalling things from 2015, 2016. I mean, that's, 7 or 8 years ago. Now, I've got some pages of notes of, what some of the summaries. Child A, he said the prosecution were alleging that she injected child A with air. And the defence brought up the fact, well, it was a long line, it was not in an optimal position. And Letby said that she can't remember doing Facebook searches on child A's parents. Child B, the judge reminded the jury, was grey in colour and had blotches. Child C, the bile was black and a cause for concern. And child C died with pneumonia, but not of pneumonia. Child D died, and the doctor had said that child D had an infection, but there was a delay in giving child D antibiotics. Now, E and F were twins. E had a higher blood sugar level, which they said was not a big problem. And they said there was the judge said there was significant conflicts between Letby's evidence and the evidence of the parents. And F had high blood sugar as well. Child G was born weighing under 2 pounds, so 1 pound and 3 ounces, and had air in their abdomen and projectile vomited, which obviously was a concern. Child H, the judge talked about the unacceptable delays in H's treatment and said there was no cause of the collapse. Prosecution said Letby had fabricated the notes of H's decline. Child A, which is a murder allegation, child I became unwell. Letby was not on duty at the time. Letby denies force feeding child I in subsequent shifts and causing the vomiting. And the judge talked about how the prosecution had made a big issue about how she said that, I knew what I was looking for, and then changed it to at. So the significance of this, I'm not really sure. I don't know. Maybe someone could let me know what they think. I mean, it's a word. Don't we all correct ourselves? I correct myself on here. Child I was then moved hospital and became more stable. And then the judge talked about the fact that Letby spoke to the parents after the death of child I, and the parents said that she was smiling. Again, significance. I mean, some people smile when they're sad, nervous, whatever it is. Child J, there was no cause of the collapses. Child J had a stoma, and Letby had texted a colleague the previous day about how the fact that the hospital should not be treating children with stomas because they were not specialists. Now, child K, this was the child where the alarm didn't go off, and Letby was by child K's bed, and the judge reminded the jury that there was no expert evidence to do with child K's collapses. Child L, this was the allegation that the insulin bag had been deliberately tampered with and that child L had been poisoned. Now, with M, child M, notes were found in Letby's house, and the prosecution say she kind of took it as a memento, a souvenir almost, and Letby said, well, I shouldn't have taken it. I did not get it out of the bin. It was on me, in my pocket, yeah, whatever. Child N, Letby can't really remember much about child N. There was dispute over the evidence as to who called the parents and at what time. Child O, the judge talked about the fact that there were staff shortages and child O's skin became mottled before they died. And this was the liver injury, which there's debate as to whether it was caused during the resuscitation or whether Letby deliberately harmed child O. And the doctor had raised concerns about Letby. Child P, Letby was in the room when child P collapsed and said, he's not leaving here alive, is he? To a fellow nurse. Again, significance of that, debatable. And then the consultants, by this stage, insisted that Letby was removed from her duties. So, yeah, interesting week. I mean, a long week for the jury, 4 days. And then on Monday morning, the judge is going to finish his summing up and then tell the jury to go away and reach a verdict, or reach verdicts, plural. It'll be interesting. I think the judge will give some kind of time scale to this, because a lot of people have been asking, well, how long have the jury got to make a decision? I mean, there is no set time, but there has to be some kind of time limit. I mean, I'm thinking 2 weeks, but I absolutely have no idea. I mean, the judge might say, well, yeah, 1 week. I don't know. There could be a hung jury. The jury could fail to reach verdicts. If there's a hung jury, then the prosecution have to apply for a retrial, and this is not guaranteed. It has to be in the public interest. So that would be very interesting. I mean, I hope for everybody's sake, for Letby's sake, for the families, for the jury, I hope that they can reach verdicts. But let me know what you think.